Hello, this is Robert Hollis. I hope you're having a wonderful and blessed day. Welcome to the Ask Me Anything show. So if you're watching this right now, below here, you can actually see where you can click on the link to come on here live and ask me any question that you want to about anything. And so one of the things that I did is I put together this show because there was a lot of people that were going through all kinds of videos and also going through a lot of stuff that I have on lifemechanic.com. And I just wanted to be at service to be able to help people not only get the answers to their questions, but also to be able to get point, guide, and direct them to any kind of resources that they might need to help them fulfill their dreams. So, if you, as you come on here, make sure you pause the video so we don't hear two of me. And the second thing that you want to do is if you don't want to come on here live, just very simply just type your question below. So looking forward here, we got Scott Kloster. Hello, Scott. How are you?
Man, if I was doing any better, there'd be 100 of me.
We get better each and every day, so pretty soon you're going to have to start adding, you're going to have to say there'd be affinity of me, I guess, or something.
If there's 365 of me, man, we'd be in trouble.
Well, Scott, thanks for your love and support. I appreciate you getting on here. And is that Melanie?
Yes, it is.
Hi, Melanie. How are you? She's trying to fix her volume, so...
Yeah, she's my guest for the day.
Excellent, excellent, excellent.
She's a terrific and amazing lady. She lives in Canada.
Excellent. I border Canada, eh?
Oh, and she's figuring it out. You can actually ask a question.
Yeah, I'm waiting for her to come on here live, so you can unmute yourself if you can. I see you're muted, so that might be right above you. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
I can.
Great, great. Nice to meet you.
Very nice to see you.
Yeah, this is my husband, Jason.
Hello.
Hey, Jason, how are you?
Very well, thanks. I apologize. I just came back from a run, so I'm a little bit out of sorts yet.
Hey, no problem whatsoever. I love being informal and just being us. That's the way it's supposed to be. So.
My son plays AAA hockey, which is an elite hockey. He's 10 years old.
Wow! Congratulations. That's awesome.
He just kicked my butt. We went out and run together. He could run to the end of the block and back by the time I got halfway through.
I grew up in North Dakota, Montana, so very, very familiar with that kind of mentality. We don't have a big sports team, so so that's great. So you guys have any questions for me?
Yeah, the one question I have is what makes people so terrified of the phone, and how do you get past that?
Well, the number one thing about all fear of everything that we do is this crazy stuff about, fear is emotions appearing real or false education appearing real. We all go through different levels of fear. And so when people start worrying, you know what I mean? And what they do is they start thinking about stuff that could possibly happen that might humiliate them or make them feel like a failure, or they're not, someone's going to make them feel stupid. And this is all stuff that we sort of get brought up in culture as we're going to school. And so, I was one of those kids that wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed. So, if there was a teacher that was asking questions, I was the person that was hiding behind people. You know what I mean? Please don't call on me. You know what I mean? And it's just sort of ingrained in us. And if you think about anything that we've done, it's like, you two are married, so, there's this part where when you guys first started thinking about asking each other out on a date, you go through there. You know what I mean? And then it's like, wow, maybe you ought to get married. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, man. You know what I mean? And it's always this stuff that right after you seem to do it, you go, wow, I don't even know what the hell what was I worried about? And then all of a sudden it's like, man, we're going to have children. It's like, what the heck are we doing? There's no manual for this. And the positive part of every story is that once we just do it, we find out that everything's okay. It's like it's really no big deal at all. So the way to be able to help people through this is there's a lot of people out there My son does it, a really good friend of mine named Todd Falcone. Anyone that uses any kind of phone, it's neat to watch them. Find out when they're doing their calls and go on their Hangouts and watch them. And you're going to go, this is dumb. This is just dumb. Because what's hilarious about watching somebody else call a bunch of people is how much they just don't care. Right. You know what I mean? It's just nothing but sorting, so they're just picking up the phone. Now, if you don't have any problem with that and you want to help people, then you got to show them how to do it. You know what I mean? Just say, listen, don't worry about it. I usually, if you haven't seen The Professor yet on lifemechanic.com, watch The Professor, because I can get people's chicken lists so fast. You know, they're going, I'm just saying, listen, who's the #1 person that you would like to talk to? Well, I'd like to talk to Michael. Well, great. And then I tell them what I'm going to say when I call Michael, and then they go, wait a minute, that would be okay. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden I say, well, great, let me call Michael. And then all of a sudden they're like, really? Right now? You know, and so when I do that for them, usually I don't even get to the third person. And they go, if I knew that's all you were saying, I could have done this. Well, I told you what I was saying. So it's all different. You know, it's like the whole concept a guy said the other day that was hilarious is him and a bunch of buddies. You guys know him, Tom Shalon. He does these incredible interviews for network marketers. And it was funny because he just recently did his first bungee jump. And he said that it was really hilarious how when they all went up there, who was going to go first. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, and we're not talking about spring chickens. You know what I mean? It's like, and so once one person did it, you know, the pressure kept building. But he said as the pressure built, it was also excitement. You know what I mean? Because you're not going to be the only one that's not doing this. And it's so, you know, so I hope that helps you. The only other thing that I talk about in some of my training is if you want to worry, if you want to play the what-if game, really trick your mind and play the what-if game. Just go nuts with it. So it's like, okay, so I'm scared to talk to this person. What's the worst thing that can happen? The worst thing that could happen is they get upset, they pull out a gun, and they shoot me right here. And every time I do that, people start laughing. I go, wow, I just told a story of you dying, and you started laughing. Why did you laugh? And everybody goes, because that's just dumb. That's not going to happen. Well, great. Everything up to that point, then, should be just as funny.
Yep.
You know, oh, wow, they told me no. It's like, really? I did a whole video on a Periscope on that. You know, I can't believe someone told me no. It's like, oh, what am I going to do? You know, it's like, come on. You know, it's like, it's pretty hilarious. And then the thoughts of, you know, if they're thinking that you're doing something, you know, it's like, so I've always turned it around, and it just comes with practice and posture and just doing it. And if your goals are really set strong, you know what I mean, you'll find out that, you know, it'd be like me telling you guys, hey, listen, you know what, I don't know if you agree or disagree with this, but, you know, hockey's pretty stupid.
Right.
You know, so
easy for Canadians. Right?
But look at you immediately. You see what I mean? I'm going, and any parents that would support their children, they go into such a sport, you know, I'd have to question them a little bit. And it's like, listen, dude, game on. You know what I mean? And it's like, so you're not scared of my opinion on being a hockey parent because your belief is strong.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So you guys made a decision wondering if it was okay, then your son fell in love with it, then he practiced and he got good. And now it's like, I'll fight you all the way. And it's like, why can't you get that way with building your own home-based business, being an entrepreneur?
Right.
Definitely can.
I take a lot from my kids. I learn through them.
Yes.
Be fearful.
Yeah.
You know, and my oldest is 10 years, my youngest is 8, and you know, when they're perfect when they're born. It's adults that screw them up.
Yes, it's all the stuff that we tell them that could possibly happen. You know what I mean? And you're absolutely correct. My 2 younger sons, you know, they not only are black belts in Taekwondo, but they qualified for the Junior Olympics. And I'm just like, watching the stuff they do with weapons and everything. And, you know, that was years ago, but it's like, you know, and I'd run into people all the time that would tell me, you know, oh, man, that's such a violent sport. And it's like, you know, well, you know, my sons didn't want to learn how to grow and pick flowers. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, it's like, hey, there's nothing wrong with that, but hey. So great question. I hope that helped you.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, find people that have no fear of it and just watch them. And I always tell people all the time that two things will happen in everything in decision in our life. We're either inspired or we do things under desperation.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I heard a good one the other day. I watched a Tony Robbins interview with Jim Rohn. Oh, wow, that was so powerful. I'm going to get it up. And one of the things that Jim Rohn has always talked about is he goes, I don't know what day this will happen to you, but I hope that it happens soon. I hope one day you wake up and you're just flat out disgusted with the way that your life is. And that day will be a magical day because that's when you're going to make a decision. You know what I mean? So I'll give you one, since you guys got on here and I'm meeting you new, I'll give you one thing that really will probably inspire you, I hope, is, you know, as my sons were learning martial arts, I found out that there was a lot of people that sort of felt like they wanted to do their own thing. And then all of a sudden there was this master that lived out of Rapid City, South Dakota, that, you know, if my sons were going to the Olympics, they had to know Kukiwan. They had to get their Kukiwan certificate from someone that did the traditional martial arts of Taekwondo from Korea. All right? So now all of a sudden you really get to find out who all the posers are. You see what I mean? Because there was only one person within miles of us, I mean hundreds of miles of us, that was actually a master that was recognized by the art from, you know, Korea. So all of a sudden I got in this big rift because I wanted my sons to be taught by him. I wanted their certification to be from him. And so you get in this rift of where all of a sudden, where do you have the time to just take your sons, go to South Dakota? I live in Billings, Montana. That's probably, you know, 7 hours there, 7 hours back. Where do you find the money and the time to make sure that your children get in front of the best? Not sort of the best. And so then when they went to start to compete, then the guy named Steven Lopez was the gentleman that won 2 gold medals back-to-back for the U.S. in Taekwondo for our Olympic team. Well, not only did I get him to coach my sons, but during the Montana State Games, I got him to come out to the state of Montana to carry the torch, and my sons were in the torch rally for the Montana State Games. And I'm not saying this to brag. I'm saying that if you really, really, really want your son to be taught by the very, very, very best, then you got to find a way to generate those funds, and you also got to put your both in a situation where who wants to miss a game? Are you kidding me? If he's got to go to another state or another country to get taught by the best, the family's going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See what I mean? And I just got chills now because when you really think out of the box like that, you start going, whoa. You know, so who is the best? So I was telling my wife, for people that are in the NBA, I'll take this one more step, and is, you know, Stephen Curry. You know, they're watching him, and not only, he won the, most valuable player last year for the NBA, but his team also won the world championship. Well, they were saying that he was averaging 38 to 39 points a game. Well, now that he's got his confidence and they're playing better than they ever played, now he's doing 50-point games. You know what I mean? So, you know, the guy is just stepping up his game even better. When you go back and see his history, he was one of the only professionals in the NBA that was going to Kobe Bryant camps.
Right.
Now, if you're an NBA professional, getting paid professional, and you're still going to camps for other people that have already won an MVP, won a world championship, that's smart people.
Yeah.
And so he said that he noticed that every time he showed up, Kobe was already there. And when he left, Kobe was still there. So he said, man, I got to amp my work ethic up. You know? And it's like, so, you know, we all find people that can inspire us. And then the other one I shared with you is, of course, how I found this profession, which was totally under desperation. I mean, I found someone that told me they could show me how to make money, and I didn't question it, and I just did everything he told me to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
So good. Well, welcome. Anything that I can do, if we're not friends on Facebook yet, you know, send me a personal comment so I'll delete someone and add you. So that's awesome. I think the next person that got on is, hi, Michael. How are you? Michael and I now are friends on Facebook. He finally accepted my friendship. He was like holding out on me.
Hey, what's going on, Mr. Hollis?
Everything's going awesome. How are you?
I am absolutely blessed. I am blessed.
Excellent.
Yeah,
So, did you have a question, or are you just coming in and observing?
well, observing, but I do have a question while you were talking. One kind of came to mind, and this will help me out a lot. I mean, when dealing with cold market, I don't necessarily have a fear of talking to people, but I do have a problem with, I can almost say prejudging. And I'll say that, but I want to say it like this. Well, it's not even, well, yeah, I guess it would be something like that, because when you're talking about business, you really don't want to align yourself with everybody, you know, and
Absolutely.
because it's like a marriage, you know, when you get involved in business, it's like a marriage. And so oftentimes I see people and I see certain habits that they're doing. It's like I'm observing them before I speak to them, and I see them doing things like, no, I don't want to deal with that guy.
Got
You
it.
know, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to bring this problem into my household, because, you know, as a Christian, I'm very aware of spirits. I'm aware of people, but at the same time, it's causing me to kind of to not be productive as productive as I want to be.
Yeah.
You
Yeah. I mean, I think you asked the question perfectly, Michael. You know what I mean? One of the things that I want you to think about is if funny, I'm bringing up the character, the professor again. If you watch the professor, what I do is I look at everybody. There's also I think if you go to Robert Hollis interviews, roberthollisinterviews.com, I did an interview with Ray Higdon, and one of the things that I do, Michael, is everyone that I look at as a doorway, to find a Michael.
That's right. I
And
remember that now.
so regardless of who you are or how you're acting or the way that you look, I always know that, you know, because this is the way I bring it up. When you really, you know, not doing the whole professor, but when you really look at the most motivated people that are upbeat, that they're givers, man, they're just always smiling. They are always positive. These people are so focused on doing good to the world that they're really not looking in want ads. They're not looking on Craigslist. They're not clicking on Facebook ads. They're just too busy. But people like that all know people that are absolutely doing nothing with their lives.
Right.
And so my whole thing is, when I knew right away that, and how I learned this was by accident, because the people that were between me and the mentor that I learned from, man, there was a bunch of people in between there that I just won't use any word to label or describe them. But they, you know, so it was like, you know, they were just at different times in their lives, and they had different things going on and a lot of different stuff. So, you know, if I leaned on them, I wouldn't have never ever became successful. I went upline, and I tell a story about a guy that told me to go and call Bill. I didn't think that, why would he want to talk to me? I haven't done anything. But my whole point, Michael, is think about people, and you're looking at them. You want to, you know, get to know, like, and trust them. Be a giver to them, and then through reciprocity, they're going to lead you to your superstars.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
And here's one thing that I'll give you in a last thought is by those individuals giving back to you and introducing you to a superstar, then they have a chance to change who they are. They have a chance to be influenced, and you become who you hang around. So when someone reaches out to them the way I'm asking you to do, and then they help you find a Michael. Are you following me? Now you get to look at them and say, hey, listen, you know what? I know you would love to be able to, override and make some money, by overriding Michael. You're the one that introduced them to me. And now you're giving them a shot to pull themselves out of their current situation.
Gotcha. Okay. I
because
love that.
most people that I know, they are the way they are because of the people that they hang around. They, 99.9999% of the people really don't know who the heck they are. They're just conforming. I call them sheeple. And when they're around the wrong people, they're doing the wrong stuff. You know what I mean? They don't know any better. You ask people why they cut the ends off the ham, and they don't know why they do it.
Right.
So you could be that kind of person that pulls that individual out of that bad situation that might be doing stuff, being disrespectful, acting like a clown, whatever, not being Christian-like, and pull them into a place where at least you gave them a shot.
Right. Right.
And if they don't do anything, then you still get to override the superstar that they introduced you to.
Gotcha. I love it.
Yeah, so
I love it.
That's how I got over it. I looked at everybody as, I tell people all the time, people don't believe that I do this, but I actually look at everybody like they're never going to do anything. I don't expect anything out of anybody.
Wow.
And then, so I can't judge them. So then when they get in and they start doing something, I'm jacked out of my mind, man. I'm so happy for them. I'm so appreciative of them. I give them a lot of praise and recognition because I really expect them to do nothing.
That's powerful.
Yeah, so
That's very
I hope
powerful.
that helped you.
It helped a lot. It helped a whole lot.
Good,
It
Michael.
helped a whole lot.
Well, let me get some of these other people introduced. I appreciate your question. Hi, Ray. How you doing?
Hey, Robert. How are you?
Blessed
Hold on
and
one
highly
second.
favored. Is that your son?
Yes, sir. I've told him a little bit about you. He just met Jeanette a little bit this morning, as well as Jackson, and we talked a little bit before we jumped on your Google Hangout, and I just wanted him to hear a little bit of what you have to say. We're more ears right now than we have questions. I'm sure we'll have questions to come, but actually, he has a question. His name's Aiden. Aiden Ray.
What is his first name?
His name is Aiden.
Aiden. Aiden, nice to meet you. My name's Robert.
Nice to meet you too, Robert.
Where are you hanging out at?
Home,
Home is where?
Las Vegas.
Hey, Las Vegas. Awesome. What's your question?
Okay. So becoming successful, right? Do you have to let go of anything before you can become successful?
Great question. First of all, I want to tell you how impressed I am that you're on here and asking me that question. What you got to do is you got two voices inside your head all the time, and they're there. And one of them wants you to put a cape on and fly around the house. And the other one's telling you, if you do that, then all the kids are going to laugh at you. Don't listen at the other one. Okay? So the thing that you got to let go of is always know that there's going to be this little stupid voice in your head that's going to tell you that you're too young, that you're not smart enough, that you're not good looking enough, that you don't have the abilities to do things. Just tell them to shut up. Okay? So now, yeah, so the only thing you got to let go of and you got to get rid of is just that voice of the whole. We don't realize this, but there's a little thing, and I know that your father and your mother are probably incredible people, but we don't realize that when we're growing up, we tend to have a tendency of just doing what our parents did to us and what we've seen our aunts and uncles do. And people don't know this, but believe it or not, from the time that a kid starts understanding, they're told 25,000 times, no, and stop it, and don't do that for every, yes, you can do that. I know you can. So you got all these times where someone said, even when you didn't even know what they were saying, and they're saying, stop that, and they're saying, no, don't do that. And so now you're older, and now I know that your father and mother are probably saying, hey, I believe in you, man. You can do anything. But still, there's these little thoughts in their mind where they're saying, hey, I can't do it. So just let go of that stuff. Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
Great
question. You just taught me that. You just taught me a lot right now by saying that right now. No, my only question is, how is it true what they say? Does it take money to make money? Did you need money to make your money, or did you just use your mind and what the tools you were taught to make money? Because I mean, just to be quite honest, I'm not in a position right now to just dump $50,000 into a business, nor $10,000, nor $5.
Right.
So does that set me out? Am I out of the game already just due to that fact, or where do I start from?
Ray, that is my wife. I don't know where the echo is coming. But someone might have their audio still open. But Ray, that is another great question. There's a thing that you'll find out again. That's stuff that I tell people, and people laugh when I say this, Ray. The number one thing that you probably have to let go is stop listening to broke people. So, because we don't have self-confidence, and I'm talking about me, self-confidence, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, I don't have great education, so on and so forth, I always relied at the beginning of listening to other people that were unhappy and broke and miserable and asking them for their opinion. Well, of course they're going to say stuff like, money doesn't buy you happiness. Really? Let me cut you a check for $100 grand, and let's see how long it takes for you to get the smile off your face. You know what I mean? So I say that, it's true that money doesn't buy happiness, but neither does poverty, right? So to answer your question directly, is all you got to do is you got to start becoming what is called resourceful. Instead of thinking that you need resources, you need to become resourceful. And if Jeanette and Jackson haven't sent you this link yet, it's Science of Getting Rich. If you and Aiden started going through that and started understanding that you could become successful by listening to successful people. So when I got involved in this profession, I didn't have any money. I had absolutely no money at all. And my mentor looked at me and said, Robert, listen, don't worry about money right now. You know what? You show me that you can go to work and introduce people to this system. I'm going to make money by you introducing to people. And if you'll just trust me, I'll make sure I pay your way in. I'll make sure that you don't miss a dime of that money. And you work with people that want to work with you. Nothing can take away your desire. Nothing can take away your work ethic. Nothing can take away your dreams of what you want to accomplish. So the whole thing is that I can show you how to be able to make incredible money. I made over $10,000 my first 45 days because I had a mentor that told me what to do instead of asking me for money. If he would have told me that it would have cost me $5 grand, he might as well ask for $50. I didn't have either. You know what I mean? But he was looking for people that understood what he was doing, and I hope that answered your question. So the stuff that broke people say is what broke people say. They're just excuses not to try.
Okay, yeah, that totally makes a lot of sense to me. I guess it was our might be my microphone and our echo.
Right. And it's like you look at Jeanette and Jackson that are here, you know what I mean? And we're gonna meet each other one day, but of course they're in Australia, right? And I was so blown away by Jackson and Jeanette and their work ethic that I actually sent them both autographed copies of my book, and it was hilarious because these two books actually went through, I think, about 14 or 20 countries. You know what I mean? And it was like, you know, so Jackson, you know, is out there piquing interest of people. He's putting them in front. And if you do it correctly, who doesn't want to work with someone that knows how to make millions of dollars? You know what I mean? So if you do it correctly, then guess what? You know, Jeanette and Jackson can show you exactly what to do and the easy way of doing it. My training walks you through step by step, and all you got to do is believe. You know, I love the younger generation figuring this stuff out, so you know they can just go from making money. And I know that some people might be watching this, and it's not that I'm against education or pro-education. You know what I mean? All I can tell you is what my mentor said to me. He said, Robert, tell me why you're a mechanic. And I go, what do you mean? What? He goes, why are you not a mechanic? And I said, well, you got to get a job. You got to get a job to make money. Why do you need money? I said to clothe my kids, to feed my kids, to make sure they got a roof over their head. I need an automobile, you know what I mean? I need to pay for lights and gas, you know what I mean? I got responsibilities. And he said, well, everything that you just explained, you told me that you could take care of with money. So why did you learn to be a mechanic? Why didn't you just learn to make money?
What was your answer to that?
I never thought of that.
Someone told me not too long ago that love doesn't pay the bills.
Yeah. And so when you sit there and think about it, why do you got to learn a trade? Why do you have to learn something to make money? Why not just learn to make money? When you sort of think about that, what can I do? What can I do to make money? You know, the very first thing is find out where people are making money and ask them how they did it. And if you find people that are documented, they'll tell you. I'll tell you exactly what I do. Not only to make a little bit of money, but fast money, a lot of money, you know, all kinds of money. It's simple. You just learn to be able to find a way to tell your story, why you're doing what you're doing, and then find a product or service that puts people in a better position, and then work your brains out. You know what I mean? Build a loyal, satisfied customer base, and then everybody looks around at you and starts calling you lucky.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Robert. If you don't mind, my son said he has one more question for you, and then we'll let you go.
Okay, sure.
No matter how hard people try, do you always believe there's a light in the dark?
Say that one more time.
No matter how hard people try to make you believe this, do you always believe there's a light in the dark?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The reason that a lot of movies really, truly inspire us, we're all waiting for the new movie to come out in December. You know what I mean? And there's always going to be a Luke Skywalker, and there's always going to be a Darth Vader. And if you look at any kind of story that inspires us, there's a negative and there's a positive. It's just what it is. And so it's these stories that inspire us that all of a sudden everyone keeps telling us that you can't do it. You're not smart enough. You're too small. You know what I mean? Like Rudy. You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, when you know, all those stories, it's always against, you know, the people that say that you can't do it. And if you watch any story, you know, it could be Back to the Future. It could be anything. There's always this idiot. That was a PG version, you know what I mean? And it's just always this individual that is trying to stop people from being what they believe that they can be. So yes, I believe in it. You need to be aware of it, and again, knock it down, man. Knock it down. When someone starts telling you and yourself starts telling you you can't do something, just go, that's not me. I'm going to get better each and every day. I'm going to get better each and every day in every way. I'm going to continue to do it. I'm going to continue to do it. So, yeah, so I believe in you.
Thank you, Robert. We appreciate that.
You bet. God bless. I'm looking forward to helping you in any way I can.
God bless.
So Jeanette and Jackson, I'll have you guys jump in since you're the one that invited them. Thank you very much.
Hi, Robert. Hi, Robert. we
So
don't really.
how did you find Ray and Eden?
We found Ray through Facebook, Robert, on Joel.
Wait a minute. Finding people on Facebook, building a rapport, getting them to know, like, and trust you enough to edify and promote, and get them on a hangout to talk to somebody like me. We know that doesn't work. Just ask everybody.
No, it doesn't. I just do what
All right. So I apologize. You found them on the internet. Go ahead.
I just do what you told me to do.
Excellent.
We found each other on the internet and connected, and yeah, introduced him to you. Excellent. And then this morning he wanted Aiden to meet us as well, so we jumped on briefly before we jumped on here and said hello and met Aiden, and I introduced Jackson to Aiden, and then we jumped on here together. So here we are.
Well, thank you so much for inviting them. Daphne, I'm sorry I didn't get to you quick enough. Good night. I don't know where you're calling from, but it sounds like it's a little late there. So, but Daphne, I'm sorry I didn't get to you quick enough. So thank you so much. So we got Eileen here. So you want to mute and say hi, or do you have any questions?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, I guess I did it right. I just wanted to pop on and just hear everybody else's questions, and I'm really happy to meet somebody new and seeing these little boys that are these young men on here just up to the plate. And sorry, my phone rang.
Yeah, it's very
anyway, it's just great inspiring to see that. And so
very inspiring. I'm looking at this whole new generation of kids that, you know, that's just amazing. I watched something funny just the other day where these two young guys, they probably were, you know, in their teens, and the guy comes in and he says, "Wow," he says, "are you guys geeks?" And they got a big smile on their face, and he goes, "Why are you smiling?" And he goes, "You guys actually act like you're proud to be a geek." You know what I mean? They're going, "Yeah, the geeks employ everybody." You know what I mean? And I just thought, how different has it changed from the time that I was in high school? You know, if someone said that you were a bookworm, you know what I mean, that you were a geek, you know, it was like, hey, not that big a deal. Now all of a sudden the kids that are running electronics and, you know, trying to beat each other's records to see who can be the billionaire by the time they're 23. You know what I mean? Yeah. We live in a different world right now. You know what I mean? Since both of you are in Canada, it's amazing. I don't know if you guys have seen that video. Someone sent me a video of that 12-year-old girl that was standing in front of the some place, and she's talking about how the Canadian government is bankrupting her generation. If you haven't seen that video of that 12-year-old girl, and she stands up in a short presentation and tells everybody that that's not the way it was designed, that, you know, a couple of people in government along with Parliament made decisions to start borrowing money from banks that compounded interest. And she's at 12 years old standing up there telling everybody that we need to pull together and make a difference and take the money back away from these banks that are overcharging us interest and go back to the Bank of Canada that was originally designed to make sure that the people prosper in Canada. And I was like, you know, I'm listening to this 12-year-old girl just laying it on the line for these guys, and I'm like, wow, I was inspired to tears.
Oh, yeah. These young kids just really, if they don't inspire you, you better do something different.
Yeah. So I'll make sure to send that to Melanie, and anybody else can spread it around for the people in Canada. We just got to find a 12-year-old, a girl or a boy, to try to explain to these idiots in the United States how much they're messing up. So, you know, it's like you see what happens to Greece and all these other countries, and it's like, my Lord, what is going on? So now I believe in the young generation. You get them the right education, and they'll switch things around. Well, I want my children to make enough money so they can take care of me.
Oh yes.
So that's awesome. Okay, so Eileen, thanks a lot for getting on. Appreciate your love and support. It's great seeing you again. William O'Toole, how are you doing, sir? All the way from UK.
Blessed and highly favored.
Absolutely. I knew I'd get you to say that. When I first met William and I brought him online, I'd say, hey, William, how you doing? Fine. Like, wow, that's underwhelming.
A draining effect, perhaps.
Yeah, now William's pumped up. That's awesome.
No, I can't go to sleep because it's 12:40 midnight, and I wanted to catch this one, and then I'm watching another hangout as well, so I won't go to bed till about 2:30. But that's the price you pay.
Yeah, we got all the people like William and Tom and all these guys that are in UK, Norway, all these places, and they take naps and come on our hangouts at 3 in the morning. I'm like, wow, that's incredible.
What's a nap?
What? A nap. Yeah, there. Well, thank you, William. Did you have any question or
I do.
Okay.
I do. And it's one that you've talked about before, but I don't think you've talked about it here. And I think it might help a lot of people. My question is this. If you've tried in the past with online ventures and you've failed and you've lost money, how do you get help from your partner? Do you need your partner's support? And what can you do to help your partner trust you in what you're doing?
That's a great question, and so that was 3 questions, so I'll answer them all. One of them is you do not need your partner's support. What a lot of people do when they get into anything is what they do is they're looking for excuses again not to do it. So what they do is they say to their partner, hey, listen, you know what? I'm going to do another thing. They don't ask them. They tell them. They're saying, I'm doing something else. I got into this. I got into this. I got into this. And so what happens is they're really not looking for support from their spouse. They're basically just telling their spouse what they're doing. You know what I mean? Well, that's okay if you produce. You see what I mean? So I think it's so hilarious that there's other things that, my wife, for instance, sometimes she goes gets her hair done. Sometimes she goes gets her nails and done. Sometimes she goes with her girlfriends and they go out to lunch. Sometimes they go shopping. I don't need to support her in doing that. Nor does she ask for my support in doing that. So what I'm bringing up is that sometimes when we get into business, we don't believe in our abilities. We're not learning from a mentor. We're not figuring out the right way to do this. So then the excuse is it's not working very well because my spouse is not supporting me. See what I mean? Well, what do you want your spouse to do? Well, I'd like my spouse to also do cold calls and get in and contact his family and friends, and I'd love my spouse to to help me with the home meetings or whatever you're doing. Listen, that's not their gig. It's your gig. You want to get them excited? It's very, very simple. Produce. Get a check. Second, do everything you can as fast as you can to cover the auto ship. See, a lot of people think that you need this big, giant success. No, your spouse will support you if it's money not coming out of their pocket. If it's money not coming out of the family, budget. It's like, listen, you want to do a business? Great, I'll support you. Well, if you're going to do something, let's see some results. And so if people go from company to company to company without getting results, what they need to do, William, is pick a company, find a mentor. I tell people all the time, the vehicle doesn't mean anything if you don't know how to drive. So what you need to do is you need to learn how to drive. And if you learn how to drive, then pick a vehicle. And I say find a mentor that is documented, that can show you what to do, and then focus and get some results. I can't tell you in 28 years of doing this profession how many times I've heard in front of the room that the husband started the business or the wife started the business, And this is the hilarious part. The other spouse ends up being the better producer. But it was after the first spouse produced. You see what I mean? So it was like, you know, all of a sudden it's like, yeah, that's my wife's business. Yeah, that's my wife's business. Yeah, she does whatever. Then all of a sudden it's our business. Then all of a sudden it's my business. Because if she makes enough money where she's out earning me, now it's got to be my idea. Or the other way around. And I hope you guys get that. So, William, the three-part question that you had is that people are looking for support from their spouse and their family because they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And then lastly is you need to learn to incorporate your entire family. If you're asking time away from your children, if you're asking time away from the rest of the family, if you're asking time away from your spouse, then why are we doing this? Get me clear on what you're going to do and why we're doing this. So I tell people, you know, get together, get a whiteboard, get a dream board, sit down with the family, shut the TV off, not when everybody's watching their programs, and go and listen. Daddy's starting a business. Mommy's starting a business. And here's why. We're all going to go to Atlantis. And we're going there for 2 weeks. Show them pictures of Atlantis. All the excursions that you're going to do. You see what I mean? And then let's look at some videos. Let's look at some, you know, pictures. Let's all dream about this vacation that we're going to take in Atlantis. And then what you do is you draw one of those thermostats. You figure out how much it's going to cost for the family to go, and you start filling this thermostat in with red marker that you guys are getting closer to your goal. So if you figured out something like that for the whole entire family to do, then everyone's going, oh, okay, so that's why Dad's doing this extra stuff. That's why Mom's doing this extra stuff. Because you incorporated the entire family into doing it. Does that make sense? If the spouse knew that the reason that the spouse was working so hard was to get them out of their job, see, that's very difficult not to support. But if the person's just spending time away from me, and there's not money coming into the family and money's going out, and a lot of people say this all the time to me. They go, well, how long should it take to show how to make money? A cost to get in a normal company is around $500. Auto ship's around $100. Man, you should have this knocked out in 30 days. If you are not in profit in 30 days, you need to fire your upline. You need to fire whoever's teaching you how to do this. Now, if they're teaching you the right things and you just because of stuff that you're going through are not doing what they tell you, that's a different story. But if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and they're telling you to do it and you're not getting results, then you got to learn from somebody else. I mean, I could go back to Melanie and her husband. You know, if my son's or her son was around a coach and somebody that was mentoring him and he wasn't getting any better at hockey, then he's not practicing and he doesn't have the desire to want to be good. Wait a minute. No, he does. Then there's something wrong with the person that's mentoring him. See how fast that works? I tell people all the time, it's amazing that we won't seek out for the right mentors for us, but we sure are protective of the people that train our kids. It's like we want the best for our children. Shouldn't you want the best for your spouse? Shouldn't you want the best for you? So anyway, William, did that answer your question?
It did. It did. And as soon as you let go of the pride when you do have a check, and you go, here you go.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. I always run into this thing all the time. Is like my spouse doesn't support me, and I'm going like, well, why don't you give me a couple of reasons why they should? And they usually don't have an answer. Give me some reasons why your spouse should support you. Well, they love me. All right, awesome. Is there some other things that you do on a day-to-day basis that they don't really have anything. Like I watch NASCAR. My wife does not support me. She has no interest in NASCAR. So I hope that works out.
Okay, that's good. I've got another question, but I'll keep that for the next time we talk.
Yeah, let me introduce Ray over here. I mean, Gil. Hi, Gil. How are you? Gil, I see your microphone shut off there. There you go.
How are you? Can you hear me?
I can, Gil. Welcome to the Hangout.
Awesome, awesome. I've been trying for a couple of days trying to get live, and finally I figured out.
Hey, congratulations. Everybody says technology doesn't work, and you figured it out. I'm proud of you.
Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. How you doing?
Well, I'm blessed and highly favored. Where are you hanging out at?
I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
Awesome. Hot Atlanta.
Yes. Well, I hear a lot of people still don't know why.
You say that again?
That I heard some people saying that it's hot Atlanta, but I don't know why they say that.
Oh, I don't know. It's I don't know if it's the activity there or the temperature there. I don't know. I used to live there.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Cool. So who invited you to the Hangout?
Well, I've been following you for a few months now. Actually, we met at the GoPro event last year.
Excellent.
And lately I've seen all your Periscope, well, not all of them, but I've been following you with your Periscopes and YouTubes. And when I saw that you're starting this show, the Ask Me Anything, I was like, ooh, that's a very cool show. So for a couple of days I'm trying to get on, but it took me a while.
Oh, welcome, welcome. It sounds like you're on a phone. I appreciate your effort and your tenacity and your consistency, your persistence. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Robert. Well, so one of my questions I have for you is, I heard you on the other day saying that when you were telling your story, if you were always been a hard worker, and why don't you do it for yourself if you were doing it for somebody else? And that kind of, when the light bulb go off a little bit, because
right.
For example, I'm working like 100 hours a week for somebody else, but when I have time to work for my business, I don't really do activities that can make me money. I mean, I do a lot of studying and listen to tapes or reading books or stuff like that.
Right.
Really have trouble the prospecting time. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, I do. I totally do. The one thing that I don't know if you've been on lifemechanic.com yet, but we got a lot of free trainings there. And now that I see you, Gil, I'll reach out to you and send you some other links that will help you. The one thing that you got to realize is the reason that you're not jumping on this, I mean really jumping on this, is there's just a couple reasons. One is you either still don't believe in what you're doing, or you don't believe in you. You see what I mean? So what a lot of people do is they usually is the last one. So if you're involved in anything and there's people that are in that company, there's people that are doing what you're doing, whether it's online marketing, anything, if there's other people that are making a full-time income with it, then you know that it's possible. And so a lot of people get inspired by watching other successful people do what they do. Well, now it comes back to, wow, well, if it can be done and people are making money, then why don't I believe in my abilities to do it?
Yeah.
And so what a person does is they find activities, like you said, they're, instead of productivity, they're in activities, because they always are telling themselves, I think I got to learn some more. I'll find some other mentors. I'll go through some other trainings. And we're doing all of this to stop us from doing. You see what I mean? Because everything else that you've done in life, you did it on the job. It was on the job training. Do you have any children?
Yes, I do.
So how did you learn to be a father?
By doing it.
And so that's the way we learn things. See what I mean? And so when I see people not doing the things, what I would suggest that you do is I can send you some links that you need to listen to really, really believe, Gil, that you can do this. When you get that, what I call a pop, and you know that you know that you know that you can do this, then everything will change. It will change, and it will change fast.
Yeah, because it's funny. I've been in the network marketing industry for quite some time, but never had really developed the relationships. And I've been doing a lot of seminars, and obviously Eric Worre and Ray Higdon, you, Todd Falcone, and a lot of people doing great, and I've been following them. But there is still something inside of me that is not clicking. And I heard Ray Higdon the other day saying on one of his trainings, is like, if I ask anybody right now how to handle this objection or how to answer to this thing, you all know it, but you just don't do it because you don't believe you can answer it the right way. And I was like, man, yeah, I mean, I think I know the answers, but why when I get it, I cannot handle it the right way, you know?
Yeah, it's weird. We are creatures of habit. We're also people that love to be comfortable. We don't, you know, we are always seeking pleasure. We're avoiding pain, and being something different, changing who we are, is painful. And so when I brought up fatherhood to you, the reason that I did that is one day you were surprised because someone told you they were pregnant. See, so when they said they were pregnant, you were like, whoa, okay, but see, I still don't know what to do. I don't know what I need to do. So you were supportive for about 8 to 9 months. And then all of a sudden, the baby's born, and you were immediately a father. So you didn't have a decision then. See, once the baby's born, I'm going to be a father. I'm going to make this work. And that's what all of a sudden you just step in and you just do it. That simple thought pattern is the same thing. Just like you said, one day you were going to drive, one day I was going to get a job, one day I was going to get married, one day you're going to be a professional salesperson. One day you're going to be a professional MLM person. So when you're ready, it'll all come together. So I'll send you some links, Gil, on your. If we're not friends on Facebook, make sure you send me a private message so I can get that to you. So I'll send you a message here. So I hope that helped you out, Gil. Okay, William, we're going to let you close out with one last question here.
Well, what I wanted to say was one of my pro members was having a problem with visualization of attraction. And she won't mind me sharing this. She's been looking to move house. And she found a house. I said, pick a house, pick where you want to move to. Get the local newspaper and find the house. So get this. She got the paper. She found a house she wanted to move into. I can't believe it. She found the house and she put the picture on her screen. On her computer screen, on her phone, on her lock screen, everywhere. Left it to the universe. 2 days later, she gets a phone call. And she gets a phone call from the company that owns the house offering her the house.
Yeah, I know that stuff's for real. I tell people, if you really, really dream and you really, really, really think about an incredible lifestyle, I do it more on, I think about where I want to live, and I think about the way I feel, and I think about the smells, I think about who's around me, because one of the things, William, that I found out about my life when I really, really understand that, you know, I just have to dream about it and think about it and get emotional about it, is my life is easily 100 times better than I ever dreamed. Think about that. the place that I ended up getting was way nicer than the place that I ever thought that I'd want, and the location and everything. I mean, so when you really start thinking about how you're going to help people, and the person that helps the most people wins, that is the whole key. So thank you for bringing that up. So I got a text from the wife. I'm going to go grab something to eat. So Eileen, thank you very much. Gil, thank you. William, all the people that got on, I see we still got 8 viewers, so I thank you very much. So go to lifemechanic.com, and if you go to lifemechanic.com, make sure to put in your email address along with your name. In the upper right-hand corner, you'll see a YouTube. You can click on the YouTube, and you can see a recording of this, and the other Ask Me Anything shows. And then also you can click on the Ask Me Anything link to find this one tomorrow and the days moving ahead. So take care. God bless. Thank you very much for getting on. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.